Hey there, it's Johanna, and today I want to talk about how experiences in our lives can give us messages about who we are and what we're capable of. When I was in elementary school, I always really wanted a part in the school Christmas play. Every year I'd try out, and then in that window of time between, tryouts and when the roles were assigned, I'd daydream about the performance. I'd, plan out what I was going to wear and how I'd move, how I'd deliver my lines. I'd imagine what it would feel like to be on that stage with the spotlight shining down and all eyes on me. And fairly predictably, every year, the parts would go to the loud kids. I mean, technically, I got to be a Christmas tree in first grade, but for the most part, the parts went to the loud kids. And I would take my place as the tall, quiet kid in the back row of the choir. And, it makes sense. I was quiet. I had a hard time making myself heard halfway across the classroom. I have no idea how I would have projected my voice all the way to the back of the auditorium. And it wasn't any sort of intentional slight or message from my music teacher. We got along super well, and he was just trying to put on a successful Christmas play with an entire school full of young children. That is a job I do not envy. But, intentional or not, and this is just one of many, 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 many messages I received over the course of my life. Over time, those messages added up, and I started really believing that my voice just wasn't good enough to be heard. And I started believing that actually I belong in the background. That my role in life was to take care of all the things and do all the background stuff so I could support others to shine. And, for a long time, I just didn't really question those beliefs. They just felt true. And they really limited how I showed up in my life. They influenced me a lot. And it feels so limiting to believe that, the things you want to do in this world, that's for other people. That who you are, it's just not quite enough. And in order to do what you want to do, you have to somehow become someone different, someone better. And that's why it's so important to recognize what some of those messages are in our lives, because they can be so subtle. And for many of us, they've been there so long, they just feel like truth. And this isn't, I'm not saying we need to go back through our past and find every little thing that has had a negative impact on us. But there can be a lot of value in recognizing, hey, what am I believing about myself? And is that really, really true? Is there just a certain kind of person who can do the thing I want to do? Or is there only one way to do something? And maybe that way doesn't really work for me. Is that true? For me, I'm still a quiet person. And it's been a process to get to where I am today, where I'm here talking to you. And by the way, my inner kid is thrilled. But there's definitely a microphone here. I will need to boost the volume on the audio. And that's okay. that doesn't mean I shouldn't be here or I can't be here. And so what I'm curious about for you today is, what is something you want to do? Maybe it's the like grown-up version of something that you wanted to do as a kid, or maybe it's something totally new. And what do you know about who you are and what you're capable of that, actually supports you in taking a step to try that thing? And, if you're coming up against a lot of beliefs that are telling you, no, that's not for you, where can you question that a little bit? Where are you willing to take a closer look and consider whether those beliefs are really true? So leave a comment and I will be back with more soon. In the meantime, remember, you can trust yourself.